Okay, so ICA, okay, we'll do some things. What does that stand for? Write it down. Not INS. Not ICE, not ICE. What does ICA stand for? John Zabo. I knew it! Where is Anita? Where is she? You gotta give me an answer because now it's gonna be fun. Okay, what do you think the I stands for? What do you think? I'm being serious.
Investment?
Yeah! Hey, any longer you should have just said, I'll show you how to save 15% on it. You see those commercials? It's never the wrong answer, right? Investment, okay, yes, investments. Not investments. Investment. What does the C stand for? Company of America. Okay? Investment Company of America. Okay? What? Now we know what a mutual fund is, right? A mutual fund is a collection of stocks. That's all it is. Okay? And the mutual fund manager or managers are going to pick stocks that fit this fund's objective, direction, goal. Okay? Say there's a gold fund, and they're going to pick the top companies that are strategic gold companies, or international, or small capitalization in small companies, right? So, Investment Company of America, okay? That's what this stands for. What kind of companies, John, does it pick?
American company.
American company, okay? Big domestic companies, okay? I saw notes up here. Samir wrote S&P 500, right? What did he said? He went over that, I'm sure. Yeah. What is that? That's the top 500 companies, biggest 500 companies. And then under there, he wrote something else. What did it say? That is the stock market, right? That's basically when you see that as those companies go, kind of the stock market goes, right? So always understand when you're explaining this brochure, the companies in here are the biggest, most successful, valuable American companies. So when you show this brochure, Delonte, what this is showing is the American economy. That's what this is. It's not just showing what a mutual fund is. It's showing the history of the stock market. You're taking the top 150 American companies, blue chip companies, that are ran by the best business CEOs, Google, Apple, the best business minds and leaders in America, and you're explaining to a client how the U.S. stock market works and how you can benefit from getting involved in the U.S. stock market and owning pieces of great companies. Now, one thing, and I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, okay? But American funds is the name, okay? But that doesn't mean that all the funds are invested in America, okay? I'm not like this, okay? But I understand there is some audience out there that is like this, okay? And do you know what, there's a term, okay, what an American apologist is? Anybody know what that is? Maybe you know what it is. You know what an American apologist is? No, some people actually, they don't, they love America, they live here, but they kind of like apologize for America. You know what I'm saying? Like they feel like, you know, we wronged a lot of countries. And I don't feel like that, okay? Now I'm not saying I'm completely like, you know, but I love America. I freaking love America. I mean, you know, I've been to other countries. I would never want to live anywhere else. I mean, I freaking love America. All right? So, but I also understand that, you know, when you talk to some people, they don't have a lot of faith in the American economy. I'm just being honest. They think that whoever's running it is going to run it into the ground. You know? They think like, man, everything is a hoax. So, you want to let them know that, you know what? The name is American Funds, but it's a very diversified global company. That's all I say. Okay? I just want, because I've gotten, why do I say, I'm not saying that because, you know, my reactions to you go, I don't want to invest in America. I mean, you live here. Like, what do you think? Right? You going to invest in freaking, you know, Bolivia? What are you going to invest? No offense. You want to invest in India? I mean, I get it. But versus America, I mean, you know, Steve Jobs? You don't want to invest in Steve Jobs? I know he's not here anymore, but you know what I mean? Like, but some people are like that. They really are. Has anybody ever got that reaction from anybody? I don't know if you got that. You got that? So I get that, you know, where they're just like, you know, I don't, you know, and it does come across a little ignorant, okay? But it's out there. So I just explained that the name is American Funds, but we're a global company. And let me tell you about American Funds, right? American Funds is the #1 money management mutual fund company. Over $1.5 trillion in assets. One of the oldest mutual funds. Been around. How many years has American Funds been around? I just want to make sure I'm right. I know this one fund is 83.
So that came out in 1934?
Yeah.
I think 1932 is when capital group started.
Okay, 1931. So, you know, you can say whatever years, right? 80 what? What is it then? Someone for calculator. 86 years. 86 years. Looking like John Sandler. Index? I just for I'm in trouble and I need an Anita. So 86 years. Right, I don't know if this is true anymore, so I'm just going to say what I used to say. Something I used to say. But 7 of the top 10 mutual funds in terms of size are with American Funds. Is there one? Yeah. Yeah, 7 of the top 10 are in American funds. Okay, now, this is not my best fund, but it's one of the best. But this piece of literature shows how we're going to show you how to manage risk and how investing really works. I'm going to go through a lot of things with you even tonight. Now, I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to you guys. That you can just have. In the 12 years I've been using this presentation, 11, I've condensed a lot. Okay? Because, like I said, as I go, I know it's time sensitive. There's different things that you do. You know, there are sometimes you go back and you explain some things, and you sometimes you spend a little more time there. You got to know when to advance and withdraw. So as I go through some of this I don't say, you know, but I just want you to understand a little bit about it. Okay. So I just want you to understand, to be this big, I don't tell the clients, to be a $1.5 trillion company with, I think, 32 or 33 funds is unheard of. I just want you to understand that. Okay? That is unheard of. Most companies, mutual fund companies, have 150, 100 companies, and that's how they have so much. To have 32 funds in Growth Fund of America, I don't know if it's still today, okay, but that was the #1 company in terms of size, okay? At one point in time, it was like 350 billion in one fund, okay? One fund. That's bigger than many. Primerica's assets under management is what? 50 billion. Growth Fund of America, you get what I'm saying? Right? Like, that's how big Growth Fund of America is. That's how big American funds are. Okay? Like, beyond belief huge. And you can Google that. I want to know what its highest was. What? For Growth Fund of America? No, that's Primerica Life Insurance is more. I
think when the ones that keep that up, the ones that keep that up, the two American funds, were like the Growth Fund of America and the Balance Fund, was like 166, 165 billion each.
Yeah. So it's a lot. Okay, where do you look at that? But at one point I thought it was 300 billion. I know it was at 250 billion at one point. So 693 billion. I'm never gonna forget that. This is Samir was telling me, Josh, on his interview, was funny. You know what I'm talking about. I have 4 billion clients. Like, there's 4 billion people in the United States, man. I mean, in the whole world. How you guys got 4 billion clients, man? Yeah, we got 4 billion clients. It's like, yo, there's 4 billion people in the world right now. In the whole world. That's true, right? Am I telling the right story? Yeah. I mean, yours isn't as bad as that, but it's pretty bad. You find it? What is it?
So, Growth Fund's number 10.
What? What is that? Money managed or is it?
Assets.
Yeah, but is that index? Because yeah, there's going to be S&P 500.
Well, like number 2 is Vanguard's 500.
Yeah. How much is it?
Vanguard's?
No. Growth Fund.
Growth Fund America is 71.
71 billion?
It doesn't say in millions. It says 162 billion.
162 billion.
Yes.
Alright, don't worry, we got it. We'll 70 what it is. I'll learn. He can't. He just learned how to read it. You can have 71,000. I hope it ain't 71 million. I got $1 million in there. I hope it ain't 71 million. Anyways. Alright, let's go through it. Alright. So, how do we manage risk, right? That's what we're talking about clients. Is we explain the wheel with stocks, right? I'm not going to go through that. Investing in stocks it requires skill, right? It requires time. It requires money. It requires effort, energy, and you actually have to be good at it. Okay? I don't go through that with the client. I just go through the wheel where I say, hey, if you own one share of Microsoft, it goes up, goes down, right? Risk, how do you manage risk? There's 3 ways to manage risk. Okay? This is something that we learned from the Smith-Barney days. Okay? 3 ways the average investor can manage risk. What are they? Write them down. Okay? Because that's how you navigate this presentation. Okay? There's education, there's instruction, there's illustration, but it's all founded upon 3 things. Number 1, Dion. Diversification. Okay. Number 2, Ian. Professional management. John. All right. So that's how you can manage risk. That's what we're going to do for you, right? You're not going to invest in one stock. We're not going to manage your money, and you're going to keep this in here for a long time. That's it. That's as simple as it is. Everything else in the presentation flows from that, right? So diversification, right? We go to page 4, a hypothetical $10,000 investment in ICA on December 31st, block ownership of approximately 150 companies. Of those here are the 75 largest. This shows what a $10,000 investment will represent, right? Now, right when you read 10,000, they think, what? I don't got 10 grand. That's why I say that. You can invest much less than 10,000. Great. Right? But these dollar amounts really make sense. Just so you know, Ian, right? Look at the number one holding is AbbVie. You know, AbbVie, I never heard that company, but it's 4%, right? It's 4%. Several different companies over several different industries. Broadly diversified, actively managed. Those are the key words I say very quickly. I just rattled off my tongue. Several different companies over several different industries. Broadly diversified, actively managed. These guys are always looking at it. They're not all in the same industry. They're not all in the same type of sector. They're not all the same type of company. Several different companies over several different industries. Broadly diversified, actively managed. And you guys have seen, I still draw the wheel. I said, see, investing in stocks, it's risky. If you invest $100,000 in Enron, what is it worth today? 0. And I go through, different types of companies: McDonald's, Johnson & Johnson, AT&T, Walmart, Exxon, and then I say Enron, right? Why do I use those type of companies? Because these are products that people use, so it's very, hey, if Enron goes out of business, right? Do people stop using their cell phone or stop buying gas? They understand how companies work, right? Because look, when you say the word stock market, they think casino, they think gambling, they think lose it all. I'm just telling you what triggers in your mind. Oh, this is a legal gambling system, and we can never win in that system. I'm being serious. That's how people think. If they got money in the bank, that's how they think. That's it. If they got money in fixed stuff, that's how they think. I don't care how much money it is, that's how they think. You just never know, man. Right? Professional management, okay? What I'm trying to get across to the client, okay, when we go to professional management, is these guys work for you. It's not just how they manage their money. These are the guys that are working for us. This first-class management system team institution is managing your money. You're hiring these guys, man, not me. We're putting these dudes to work. Their resources, their expertise, their backgrounds, their contacts, these are the guys that are investing your money. That's what we're trying to get across to them. Professional management is another way, Ian, that we manage risk. We hire a team of people. But I don't know if you know how traditional mutual funds work, Ian, but everyone says they pick the stocks. Usually it's just one person, and then a junior. American funds, every one of their funds is managed by what they call a multiple portfolio counselor system. They have a team of people managing their money. So what they do is they break up the fund in much more manageable pieces, where everybody manages their own area of expertise. Now, I'm going to go through stuff. You've got to know your audience. You have to know your client. For many people, in terms of that, just the multiple, that's as much as you need to go through. I mean that. I'm not saying that to shortchange your client. Go back another time and explain a lot of those other things when they have questions. If they have a 401k, they have a Roth IRA, they have an old, they say the word index fund or Vanguard, then you got to go through this stuff. Mm-hmm. If they got, a collection right here for a past due bill, I'm not going to explain all that. I just want to understand that, hey, these guys, you got a team of people working for you. Let's put your $100 a month. And I'm not trying to be facetious here. It's safe, right? Because they don't believe that it's safe. They don't want to put that money away. They want to spend it right now. They definitely don't want to give it to you, right? So that's all I'm going to go through. I'm not going to go through too much, but just so you guys understand, right, a little bit more, right? Why is that better, right? Because number one, it's an idea called conviction investing, right, where they pick the strongest companies. And I go through a couple different examples, not in my mind, but if they have kids, I use the lifeguard example, right? But imagine you're at a pool, right? There's 100 kids. Would you have rather have one lifeguard or 10? Right? And they get that. Much more manageable pieces, right? They're compensated on how well the fund does, their piece of the pie does, but also as how well the mutual fund does as a whole. So they don't want to compete with each other, right? They work with each other, not against each other. They don't withhold ideas. For you guys to understand why this is better when you're going up against other funds, right? Samir showed it. It was very visual. 10 years, right? And it doesn't matter. You see I loved it because he showed the stats or the resume of these people, Harvard, Wharton, all these, right? But then that person leaves, and then you got another person, but you don't know their style, how they run, how they call their plays, right? It's much easier to facilitate somebody passing away, somebody getting divorced, somebody getting sick, somebody getting recruited to another company. You can disperse the assets, or you can bring on somebody else if the fund gets too big, right? Just think about it like this. And this is how I just want you to understand. And I go through this in the op meeting a little bit. There's a reason why Primerica is number one. It's the ownership. It's our compensation. It's the overrides. It's we do what's right. There's a reason they're number one too. Always remember that. There's no reason Fidelity Vanguard. They just have index funds, and they're good at telling that story. Everybody's robo advisors and this and that. There's a reason why these guys are number one. There's a reason why they dominate the Fantastic 48 or whatever, 46 or 42, whatever it is now. You got to know why they have the top of the top. Because it's the way they run their freaking company. They believe in a consistent philosophy, a consistent approach will yield consistent results. Don't you agree with that? If you have a consistent philosophy and you have a consistent approach, you get consistent results. Right? Like even in our own life, if you have a consistent philosophy on what you want to eat and then your diet, you'll get results. That's what happens, right? That's what they believe. That's their motto. Consistent philosophy, consistent approach, consistent results. That's why they do the same thing. Okay. So much more manageable pieces. And we know how they get compensated, right? 4-year average. Right? How does the industry do it? Maybe sometimes quarterly, maybe 1 year. Okay, now when you're up against a client that understands, right, and that this could be value-added information, right? Think about that. Think about that. Think about, how long it takes for a company to do well, right? When you invest in a company, how long? Sometimes it might take 2 or 3 years. Imagine if you're under the gun, right? You're a football coach in the NFL. You got 1 year. You're going to trade everybody for one person, right? Because you're not thinking about 5 or 6 years, right? You're going to try. You got one play to make it. It's always a Hail Mary. You're always in tight coverage, right? That's why. If you got to just pick companies, right? What does that mean for the client? More volatility, right? If you can buy and hold, less volatility, less risk, more consistency, better returns, right? Say commonly on a 4-year average. Most people in the industry is 1 or 2, right? And I use especially the football people. I say, most people they get compensated on how they do for that quarter of the year if they beat the market. That's not enough time. Imagine playing football, right? You have 4 downs to make a first down. Imagine you're going to win, right? How would that change the game? And if the wheels spin, they start to understand. And this is my favorite part to talk about with the client. Okay, and I always talk about this. Like they do thorough research. They do, and this I go through with the client. They spend $140 million a year researching the companies, and they never invest in companies they don't feel comfortable in. They're thorough. They meet the companies, meaning they station people there months at a time. They meet the employees. the buyers, the suppliers, they shake hands. They audit all their financial documents. In 2001, the number one company, the hottest company, the most widely held company, the best performing company, you know what it was? And I might ask them, especially if they're a little bit older, right? My age or older. You know what it was? Because they don't remember. Right? What was it? Amazon, right? It's Emma. That's it. Now, if you had 100,000 Emma, like I said, it's worth nothing. Right? American Funds at that time was the number one money management mutual fund company. And Amazon was the most, Enron was the most widely held stock and the best performing stock. Okay? So not only did everybody hold it, it was killing it. The American Funds, guess how much money they had invested in it? Not even $1, zero. It's zero invested in it. Think about it, the number one company, you know how $1 is nothing? They didn't have 10,000, a million, nothing. Why? Because when they did the research and they did their diligence on the company, they didn't feel comfortable investing in it. You know, never invest in a company just because everybody's doing it or just because it's going up. Who got hit the hardest, right? This is your passive-aggressive dig at Fidelity and Vanguard. Who got hit the hardest? Fidelity and Vanguard. Why? Because they invested in index funds. And everybody was holding it. What does all this mean for you? Less volatility, less risk. And then time. Go to the mountain chart. Okay. And you know, I know that we can do this on technology, and you know, there's a lot of benefits from technology. If you don't have it, you can download it. But there's something about pulling this out at the kitchen table and just showing it. It's just a better visual. I like technology, but sometimes you gotta be a little Fred Flintstone. These things are free, just order them. This is what we call the mountain chart. Right? I love it, the mountain chart. Right? This is what we call the mountain chart. This shows the historical performance of this fund. Man. Since 1934, 83 years. These are all the reasons, these headlines right here. You can see it's going up and down while going up. Right? You see all these headlines? These are all the reasons you shouldn't invest. The Depression, World War II, Kennedy assassination, dot-com crash, financial tsunami in 2008. You can see the fund still does well, right? The blue years are positive, the red are negative. Are they more blue or red? And I loved it when Andy Rawls asked that. Are they more blue or red? He just asked it and he just said, a lot more blue, right? A lot more blue. And he'd always point out, just like I said, I didn't make this up, right? 1, 2, and I always count them out with the client. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 negative years, 15 down years, and 83. Are you okay with that? I say it right there. A little test close. You okay with that? You know what this fund averaged? This fund averaged 12%. What do you think a $10,000 investment would be today? Okay, so you invested $10,000 one time, $10,000. You didn't put any more money in. One time, $10,000 in 1934. What do you think it worth today? What do they guess? 15,000. $123 million. $123 million. Right? So that's really, I mean, I have a couple other things I can do and say here. If somebody's an affluent client, and you're like, well, yeah, I know, but what if you lose your money, right? What do we say when they say, what if you lose your money? No? What do we say? What do you say?
Probably wants to lose your money.
Okay.
I'll just go to the next year. Like I used 2008, I'll say, look how much money you lost. And then the next year, you basically gained it all back.
Okay. That's a good way to say it, right? I always say that. Another thing I say too, right? So they say, well, what if you lose your money? Because always remember, you know, you get so confident, you get so passionate, people are haters. So they don't believe everything that you're selling, and they're bitter, negative people. Okay? So they want to stump you. They want to throw you off your game. They want to pop your bubble, right? Always remember that. They say, what if you lose your money? This is what I say. Well, number one, you only lose your money if you sell. Your house might fluctuate in value. Does that mean you lose your money? What do you actually lose? You sell, right? Always remember that. But yes, Luis, your money could go up and down. That's what I showed you, right? And I understand that is very scary for investors. And you know what I look at is, if your money goes down, when am I going to get it back, right? See, I've just changed the direction and the narrative of where I'm taking it. I took the focus off of when I'm going to lose money is, okay, I only lose if I sell, and when am I going to get it back? When am I going to get it back? So, say you use 2008. That's a great one, right? So in 2007, your money has accumulated to $70 million. Okay? And then in 2008, it's down to $45 million. You're going crazy, right? You call me up, I need to sell, No, don't do it. Just stay the course. Next year, though, it goes back to $58 million and $64 million. And then by 2012, it's at $73 million. So you got your money back in 1, 2, 3 years. But look at this. And 4 years later, you had $123 million. And that's something for you guys to always understand. When the market's down, is when you invest a lot of your money. Okay? When the market goes down, because look, I'm a stud. Okay? I work hard, I'm focused. The guys running these companies, they're way ahead of me. I just want you to know, they got teams of people. They got more experience, bigger companies. This is the people that you're investing in. They got a handle on these things, man. And they're picking the best of the best, and then you got the best of the best picking the companies. And they're picking the best companies that are ran by the best of the best. That's when I say, that's why I love America. It's capitalism, it's income, it's compound interest, it's freedom. It's all these things. That's why people come here. Wimbledon, right? Wimbledon. That's played in England. Why do they play that at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning? Because we watch it here. That's why. Because we freaking run the world. It's in London. It's not at the best time for them. It's an appropriate time for us. Because the sponsors and the TV ratings, they got to come here. When stuff in the Australian Open, terrible ratings, people don't get up at 2 o'clock in the morning and watch it. So Wimbledon, they're smart. They're going to put it on where we can watch it. And I'm not saying we're better than, but yeah, we're better than everybody else. That's just what it is. The best businesses, the best economy, this is us, man. Now, I'm not saying we have to be arrogant about it, but this is it, man. This is where that confidence comes of investing. It's like, man, look, hey, the money goes down, these guys are going to bounce back, man. They're entrepreneurs, they're business owners, right? That's the whole thing about California, right? The whole California goal, that's why California is what it is. Because people, whatever it is, 1849, they went out west to freaking own stuff and freaking break the bank. So everybody going out there, it's just this culture of, we freaking pioneered in little wagons to go and freaking have a gold rush because it was killing it out there. We didn't want to stay safe in the comfort zone. We wanted to go out there. That's why that whole freaking California is like the land of Hollywood and entrepreneurs and the tech boom and Silicon Valley and all that. It's just like that's why they're freaking miles ahead of us. Because it's just this whole, New York, right? It's kind of the same thing. New York is just like this whole weird area where everybody's just competing and growing. That's what America is, man. And I'm not trying to get a history lesson on people, but even though, what did Andy always teach me? What was his famous line, Rodney? You remember it? Great advisors know history and show history. Great advisors know history and show history. Okay. Then we go through the one example. Okay, or you can go, the benefit of time is good too. Well, that comes after the one example. So, so
you always show one?
I always show one. Okay. Obviously, it's not as nice as it was in 2004 and 5, where it was crazy, but it's still good enough that clients don't understand, how good it was. Oh, okay. This is what it was. So the time one is really good because it's just the benefit of time holding your money. So on a 1 year period, it might be positive 55, negative 28. Right? In any 1 year period for 12 months. That's not the 1 year calendar year like the mountain chart, but any 12-month period. So any 12-month, January, February, in any year, any 12 months that you picked, okay, there were, 83 periods. 55 were positive, 28 were negative. Okay? But if you hold it for 3 years, it's 70 positive, 11 negative. 5 years, 73, negative 6. And 10-year periods are 74, they're all positive. Right? Like before, when I'd have to do it, I'd have to say, you have to show the fingers. You go 10 years out. And I do this with my finger. Listen here. That's why some of y'all cut your fingernails when you're showing stuff.
Oh my God.
I'm serious, man. Sometimes I see my clients, I'm like, come on. Right? Is that a tool? Is it like is it a can opener? It's like a spoon. Cut him. You gotta see. I mean, I'm just like, because I get weird at the table. I'm like, what's that? Yours is longer than hers, man. They put the pink in it. Scratch it. I'm serious. I look at that when I don't want dirty fingernails, man. You freaking showing the freaking brochure. They look at your stuff, man. Right? You got dirt in there, they're playing with your kids or something. And so anyways, but that's what I used to have to do. I'd have to go 10 years. This. And say, if you hold it 10 years and it doesn't go down, right? Now and then they put this piece in, right? And then you show the quants. Now, I don't go through this a lot with my clients, but if I feel I need to, I will. But I always show the quants because the quant example really illustrates what retirement is. People don't even know what. If I say, Dion, you're going to retire, they don't know what that means. They think one day I'm going to stop working and I need to have millions of dollars. That's not how it works. Your money's still going to grow and you're going to withdraw a little bit of money. And your money will continue to grow. And if you do it right, and you save your money can grow faster than you're withdrawing. And that's how you can really be financially independent. And that's what I explained, right? You have $1,000 a month, 1982, $1,000 a month. It might be $500 each. Starting at 45 for 15 years, that's $180,000. They put in a shoebox. They put in this fund. It's $604,000. And so I said that, and I draw it on there. That is the accumulation phase. That's when you're putting money in. And we start retirement. 60, we start taking out 5%, okay? So 30,000. They may also get Social Security. Maybe they work part-time. Maybe they have some other investment income or income, right? $30,000 a year, right? But now, if they're taking out 5%, Ian, how much is the fund growing at? Remember I showed you? What is on average? 12%. So that means what? The account is going to continue to grow, even though they're taking out withdrawals. And over the next 20 years, they take out $873,000. So they put in 180. They've already taken out 873. Because I know sometimes, Sophia, right? It's a lot better when it says you've taken out 1.1 and you got 2.1. Okay? But look at the concept. You put in 180. Okay? You put in 180. You took out 873. And you still have 1.1 left. Okay? You put in 180. You took out 873. You have 1.1 left.